Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by 3Chi and Barstool Sports. I am your host, Robbie Fox. With me is my co-host, Clem. And today we're going to be doing a mailbag edition of the show. There's not any shows to talk about. There's not any movies that just came out. There's not any Marvel special presentations that just came out. For a week, we're officially dry.
I have to say, you were like, "Oh shoot, we have to do an episode this week," and I was like, "Oh my god, this is I feel like the first time we haven't had like original content to recap in months upon months upon months." Because even when we didn't just do the weekly stuff through Star Wars, through Marvel, we also had House of the Dragon. We had Stranger Things. Was Stranger Things that was this year, right?
Yeah,
Oh
that was
my,
this summer. Was it?
oh,
Yeah.
we were double dipping on stuff. There
We
was a
were
whole
triple dipping at times. We were doing She-Hulk, Andor, and House of the Dragon all at once.
triple dipping. We
Triple
were
dippers.
we were triple dippers. I mean, the double dippers they get enough grief or whatever in the world. Triple dippers. That's both sides of the chip have been eaten, and now you're just basically scooping your whole mouth in there. Oh
And you know
man,
what? It's a good transition because I wanted to talk about this right up front. I'm triple dipping this weekend. I've got Rough and Rowdy tomorrow in Providence, Rhode Island. We're immediately going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for Army Navy the next day, which is Saturday morning, afternoon. They're going to be doing the college football show. I'm going there because a private jet will be leaving from there to Las Vegas to get to Patty the Baddy's fight. So I will be doing in the span of about 24 hours, Rough and Rowdy, Army, Navy, and UFC 282, which is going to be a whirlwind.
triple dipping Robbie. Holy shit. Godspeed, sir. BuyRNR.com. Buy
Yep.
RNR, buy RNR, buy
It's actually going to be
RNR.com.
a great pay per view. We got Pac Man Jones in the main event against Bobby Lang. Rematch. Going to be an awesome fight. Grace is fighting from Barstool. So if you know her, she's actually fighting. We've got influencers fighting. We've got great fights on the card. Me, Roan, Caleb, Dave, Dan. Large is going to be there. Jersey Jerry, Frank the Tank. It's good crew.
And I mean, it's Providence. Providence is a real X factor of a place. I have a buddy who went to Providence. Shout out my boy Aegis, and I went there for a bachelor party, and it's an interesting scene with a bunch of interesting characters. So you put that all together with a rough and rowdy, a backyard brawl kind of thing going. It's going to be some fun. And John Rich wrote a really funny blog. He says he wants to see somebody just do the thing where they basically do rope a tope for the first two rounds of rough and rowdy, and then the third round have full energy or as much as you did from the punches you didn't take. And I'm like, man, if we see that at this rough and rowdy,
It'd be amazing.
because the other person's going to be gassed. You're gassed no matter
Yeah.
what, basically by the third round. So check it out, buyrnr.com. There's the ad right off the top. I don't think it's even on the list, but we gave it to you.
So let's talk about a couple things before we get into our mailbag questions. I put out the call on Twitter. I have a couple written down, but there's a couple news topics that are worth talking about. One being right off the bat, I went to war with James Cameron and his fans this week. I decided, and you heard me talk about it on the last episode. I said I'm in the process of writing a blog called James Cameron Needs to Shut the Fuck Up. And I wrote that blog, I put it out, and Clem, it enraged film Twitter. Like, it actually got picked up by so many different people I respect that quote
Oh,
tweeted it, being like, how about you shut the fuck up? That I was like, oh man. But never did I regret a single word of that. I stand by everything I said. James Cameron, I'm not an Avatar hater. I've said on the podcast, I think Avatar is a good movie. I haven't seen it in so long. But when it came out, I remember liking it. I think the new one's going to be good. I think I'm really going to like the new one. He just needed to let that movie speak for itself. Him coming out every other day with a stupid fucking quote saying, I make my cast say awooga, make a submarine noise to address me, to talk to me. Him saying the Marvel movies, no heart, the Marvel movies, this, that, the next thing. He came out today against Marvel CGI, which that is the one battle I won't pick against James Cameron. His CGI is going to be the best. I get that. But just shut the fuck up. That was my overall point. People were pissed off about it. I went back to war with them. I was going back and forth, and then Avatar 2 reviews came out the next day. They're getting rave reviews, Clem. I mean, the best reviews a movie could possibly get, pretty much.
It's a tough look, and I saw you. You know, you were going back and forth with the people on Twitter. It gave me a little bit of, and anyone obviously go back in Robbie's feed. I'm sure you can see some quote tweets. Just go to the blog, the tweet for the blog. You could probably see in the replies. I'm sure it's just a bloody mess. It kind of gave me like vibes of the old good old days, you know, like the earlier Barstool, the early Octagon Bob days, where you
Yep.
would just go at people. You're going at people in the company. You're going at people you didn't even know who they were. Consiles versus Captain Cons. It was just mayhem. You're going at people with like this is a nerd niche thing you're going at too.
Yeah.
So I personally love seeing it. I also saw those reviews, and I also was like, can't wait to kind of see the movie if it's this fucking good. And there's also a chance these guys are looking at or watching this movie with the same rose-colored glasses of you watching Star Wars, where I'm gonna go and as like a neutral observer and be like, it was all right, it was cool looking. But I actually looked up like when it comes out, and it comes out the 16th, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. Like I'm like, this is a movie me and Sienna are gonna go to. I don't think she's ever seen like a 3D movie before. Her mind is going to explode.
That's
It's
the
like,
movie to do it. I
yeah.
don't like 3D, but if you're gonna do it for any movie, it's the Avatar. And another interesting thing, though, I've seen a lot of reviews say you have to like remember the first one
Ooh.
to see this, and that's going to be an issue for a lot of people because I don't think a lot of people are rewatching the first one before they go to see it. It's a big time commitment as it is. The new one's 3 hours 10 minutes. The old one I think is 3 hours. Yeah. Oh man, just saw Clem's heartbreak on camera. You didn't realize that.
I think I'm out. I think that's all it took. I told you how excited I was. It was going to be a big experience, bonding thing, a family thing. 3 hours and 10. You lost me there because you know what I got?
Rip that ticket up and right in front of Sienna.
Yeah.
We're not going.
Because this is what I have to do. I know I'm going to have to take at least one bathroom break, if not two, because I'm an old man. I then have to I can't leave my daughter in the movie theater alone. She then has to like
With
wait.
the Avatar fans, those creeps.
Those fucking weirdos. They're going to probably paint it in blue and shit. I have to either take her to the men's room or she has to like stand right outside the men's room, and I'm kind of like poking my head out as I'm trying to piss. This is a disaster, Cameron. What are we doing right now? Oh, God.
Also, this week did prove to me that there are Avatar stands. They're out there.
They're out there, and like it's like they're probably like 30 of them, and they are loud, and it feels like there's a million of them, but they're not. They're just the loudest ones chirping at you. The worst is when, like you said, you have someone that you like, respect, follow, whatever it may be, and then they hit you with the chirp, the quote, retweet, even if they don't even know it's you. They're just the Barstool account's the one getting. You're just like, oh fuck, like please don't click it and look to see Robbie Fox as the the author of this, because that always makes you feel like shit. It's not good, Bob. It's not good at all. But I respect you fighting the fight, and this has to be known. In the words of another great movie franchise, this aggression will not stand. This is some Lebowski shit. We had to take a stand. If Cameron wants to run his mouth to get his movie tickets up and to, put this as the next highest grossing movie ever so they can actually make their money back, he's going to face the fucking nerd Avengers, and we're going to come at him for the MCU. I got fucking Kang coming. He's going to come for your ass, Cameron. And listen, we talked about it last time. We love James Cameron's a lot of his movies on this pod. We talked Terminator 2.
Totally.
We're
Aliens.
talking True Lies,
On.
Aliens. Yeah. I'm not a Titanic guy personally. I hate it. I never watched it because everyone, I think I've talked about this in the past. When I was in school, that's how old I am. Titanic came out, and people were like, "Oh, I saw it 7 times. Oh, I saw it 8 times." And I'm like, the fuck? It's a movie. What are you guys talking about? And I was like, I'm never watching this movie on principle alone. So James, you make some good ass movies. But just like there's nothing you said wrong. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up.
Just shut the fuck up. All right. So big news in the DC world now. DC kind of fell apart last night. Like at the buzzer. Like it was like we have Man of Steel 2, being whispered about after Black Adam, after that post-credit scene. We have a Hawkman spinoff in the works. I saw reports about that, which I was like, oh, cool. He was one of the best parts of Black Adam. So I don't know if that was meant for a show, a little HBO special, if it was a full-on movie.
And that's our guy, by the way. I don't know if did we talk about it on this podcast about how he was the kid from Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yeah.
So that's our guy right there. For
that's our guy.
Listen to that podcast.
So we're in on that, right? But
Aldous Hodge.
A couple other news items start trickling out. Wonder Woman 3 scrapped. Man of Steel 2 on ice. We don't know if that's happening anymore. Aquaman likely done after this Aquaman sequel. And Jason Momoa is likely to be recast in the DC universe as Lobo, which if you look up pictures of Lobo, this is the most perfect casting there's ever been in human history. It looks like the character is based off Jason Momoa, basically. And I think he's said forever that this is like one of his dreams to play Lobo. He is a smaller character, but you know what James Gunn did with Peacemaker, after what he did with Peacemaker, I don't doubt that he could make an awesome Lobo show or movie with Jason Momoa. It kind of seems from this news like James Gunn is pretty much hitting the reset button. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him saying everything's been a mess and we need to hit that button and just start over, wipe the slate clean. He did put out a couple tweets where he kind of confirmed a lot of this. He didn't say it's all true. He said a lot of it's true, some of it's half true, some of it we're deciding if it's true. But it read to me like we're doing a reset and a lot of your favorites might be lost in this, but I promise for the 10-year plan, it's for the best.
I am going to choose my words carefully because I do know how passionate some DC fans are, and the release the Snyder Cut is one of the crazier movements I've ever seen in my life take place. But anyone complaining about this, in the words of Robbie Fox to all the Cameron fans and James Cameron, shut the fuck up. Let James Gunn do what he does. And if he's smashing that reset button, let him fucking smash it twice, 3 times till his hand is bleeding and black and blue. Because this guy makes fucking kids. Go rewatch Peacemaker, then come back to me and say, like, you're like, oh my God, he took a character no one cared about and he made it like one of the best shows of the entire year. That's what this guy does. I got our hashtag for the episode, Bob.
What's that?
Hashtag live by the gun. 2 N's at the end.
Oh,
hashtag live by the gun. That's good, right? That's how I'm selling
really
it.
Good. I like that.
So your little release the Snyderverse or Snyder Cut, all these little fancy hashtags. We got hashtag live by the gun. And that thing, we'll get a bunch of fucking crazy people who are about the Second Amendment on our side too. But they don't even notice that we put the second N in there. You don't want to fuck with us right now. We have some crazies on our side. Listen, those people, and I know that there's people who are like diehard DC fans who have like 7 different universes that are all existing right now in their brain because of the way all the cinematic, all
and
the
who knows what happens after the Flash too? Like that seems to be a multiverse movie. Yeah,
it's like they're like, oh, we just lost the Flash. Like they had basically had like, and the Flash just he left the universe because the guy who plays him is a fucking legitimate supervillain himself. James Gunn just like hit that reset button, start fresh. He's going to make it all right. However, I also have to admit this as somebody that has never really gotten into those DC movies. I watched Black Adam because The Rock's been promoting it for 1,000 years at this point, and I did it for the pod here. And then I guess we watched Suicide Squad, and we obviously saw Peacemaker. He's doing this for like people like me who are Marvel fans that are like, oh, I'll give DC a shot. But I was kind of going in like, man, there's a lot of shit I'm going to have to catch up on. Now I don't have to do anything. James Gunn is like, nope, the slate is wiped clean. The big whiteboard is blank right now. And we're starting from the ground level up. I know Superman's awesome. I know Batman's awesome. I know the Justice League. I know Wonder Woman. By the way, did you see all those tweets? It was like Wonder Woman 3 dead. And I was like, whoa, like did they murder her? What are they talking about here?
Also, I'm kind of thinking about this now, though. What does that mean for Peacemaker? Because he meets the Justice League at the end of season 1. Spoilers.
Oh,
people who didn't see that. But
great call. That was just... Yeah, that
is he just gonna get like? Are they just gonna take like maybe a couple things and just suck them into a new universe or something?
Because at this point, you don't want to start Peacemaker back at 0.
No.
So, but I mean, it's not like he's gonna. We're gonna have to go through the Batman or the Superman origin story again, the Batman origin story. I mean,
we can't do either origin.
Uncle Ben has died a lot of times,
but
the Waynes are getting up there in terms of deaths.
You need to do the Batman, what they did. Like the fact that they were like, it's year 2. We're skipping over the entire, like, he's still learning how to be Batman. It's not quite prime Batman yet, but they're like, we're not showing you his fucking parents getting shot again.
Okay, now let me ask this to you. Is there anyone in the world that you would trust to get this thing off the ground more than James Gunn, not including Kevin Feige?
I was going to say Kevin Feige is the only one, but... No, because I feel like James Gunn, like the Russo brothers, but like I don't know. I feel like James Gunn is the guy because he's not just like a good filmmaker. He's a nerd about this shit. He knows the Peacemaker characters and he can turn them into much bigger characters.
And I don't know if this is the case behind the scenes, and Jeff D. Lowe could probably tell you about this, but I just someone that's dealt with corporate shit in the past. I'm sure if you have all these existing projects and then you do have some lingering projects from the old universe, and then you're dealing with, is this an HBO Max project? Is that what it was, Discovery Plus? There's probably all these things. If you just cut it clean and just kill the half measures and just we're going full measure and everything is clean, it takes care of all those other headaches. Because I'm telling you right now, the fucking at some point the suits are going to try to give him notes, the guys with the budgets and all this kind of stuff, and those are the guys that always fuck stuff up. It's always the creative people. They hear every time something's good, it's like, yeah, they just let us cook. I mean, that's what Dave says at Barstool all the time. He's like, I just let the content people do the content stuff, and I think that's the reason why so much of this stuff has grown the way it has. So I'm hoping that by cutting it off, it stops all that nonsense. And then, because I feel like the back end stuff that we don't see, the meetings James Gunn has to go to, those are going to be the meetings that are going to fuck stuff up more than other than the Flash is a legitimate supervillain. He's getting arrested every week. So I
Ezra
think
could fuck everything up. Yeah. Like he has the power to bring everything down. We might not even get Batman movies anymore because this guy's such a fuck up. I do think Matt Reeves is safe across the board, though.
That was my next question here, because I mean that feels like when you do the Batman movies and the Batman hits as well as it did in terms of the reception of it all, you can't, and you have all these other projects, which again I don't know what are going to survive. I feel like it's like if you already had something approved, James Gunn will just be like, yes, that can stay alive. It's not like everything dies and then he has to, you have to start from scratch. I just think it's like, don't get your hopes up. Don't pre-order your tickets to anything right now. And as for the Momoa thing, it's like that guy, I feel like his whole life he was like trying to build himself into Lobo. There's nobody who's ever been more Lobo than him.
Yeah.
In fact, I want him just to go by Lobo for now on. Like he has a sweet ass name too. Like I think
his name go by Momo.
I like that. So look at this. We're making the DC universe a little better ourselves by spitballing on the fly there. So
and let me say this. If James Gunn wants to bring a new Batman into his DC universe, I think the way to differentiate it between Robert Pattinson's Batman and his Batman is you have this Batman, have the Bat family. Give him Robin. Give him Batgirl. Rest in peace to the Batgirl movie. I still want to see that. Release that on YouTube for free. Give him more sidekicks and more of that. I think that's the way to do it because they've never done it on screen. Do Dick Grayson in the first movie, have him become Nightwing, and then you could have another Robin. Like I love that stuff. Clem just left. What happened there? What happened there, buddy?
I was clicking on something to look up someone for DC, and it was like, click, wrong button. I just clicked right there.
I was like, what the fuck? This guy just left on me. Maybe he's not into my Bat family idea.
Okay, give me the Bat family. Give me that. I apologize.
No, that was it. It was just, that's how you kind of make the Batman different. If we're going to have fucking multiple Batman movies going all at once, give us Robin and Nightwing and Batgirl and all that in one. And then in the other one, in the Matt Reeves ones, they're probably the solo loner. I listen to fucking Nirvana Batman.
So that was going to be like my biggest point on this. It's cool. We got Keaton back.
Super cool.
Having two Batmans was very DC weird shit, though. As a casual observer,
though.
Three, but then we get to three, and that's
because Affleck is also in the Flash.
Well, that's we're this stuff is all dead to me now, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
I think you're keeping Pattinson I think Pattinson just becomes Batman, and if you're gonna do a Keaton, I guess you can. No more than two. And even two is pushing it for this guy's humble opinion.
Yeah, no, agreed.
It's very cool we have it. Maybe it's just one of those things that wasn't meant to be, though,
Or maybe you say, we're not doing two Batmen. We're blowing up the old DC universe. Rest in peace to Michael Keaton's Batman. And not Michael Keaton, though. He's still alive.
Wait, I was going to say, if we're killing Keaton, that's going to break some laws, Bob.
No. We're keeping him alive.
Do you want to kill Keaton? Your brother's going to hear this. He's going to throw up everywhere. That's his guy. Well, I guess Bob is his guy, but Keaton's like number 2 on the list.
But maybe you do Batman Beyond. Maybe you say, fuck it, we're finally cashing in on Batman Beyond, which also features Bruce Wayne, but as an old guy. So you could bring Keaton in as an old Bruce Wayne, even if he's not Batman.
Yes, I have no problem if you're doing a future Batman movie as long as it kind of lines up with the Pattinson movie, like you're just changing the timeline and stuff like that. I have no problem with that. I think it's like these guys are in the same universe. It's just a lot to take in. If you and again, James Gunn can do weird shit and still make it land. I do think
Yeah.
that is definitely a possibility here as well.
Let's tell the people about one of our favorite advertisers, HelloFresh. 'Tis the season for saving money wherever we can. Amen.
Oh,
Amen. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% less expensive than takeout, so you can use those holiday savings for holiday gifts. HelloFresh's Festive Eats makes a mealtime a snap. Choose from holiday inspired dinner recipes, seasonal add ons, or even a 3-course offering, all designed to make holiday meals extra yummy and easier than ever. I just went to a Christmas restaurant. You know what? It was great, but the only thing was, it was so expensive. HelloFresh, it's going to cut back on that, but leave you with all the festivities still, and you're still going to feel Christmassy with their festive eats options. Quality is their priority as well, so the ingredients travel from the farm to your home in less than 7 days, so you know they're fresh. And if you're traveling over the holidays, they have plans that work with your schedule, so you could change your preferences, your delivery day, and address in just a few clicks. I love this stuff. Clem loves this stuff. The official meal of my mom's basement, the unofficial official meal, is the
mm-hmm.
cheesy chicken. We love this cheesy chicken meal. It's superb.
It's superb, and I believe this was, I don't even know, probably 2 years ago. This was an actual gift that I got my father-in-law, who's a diehard like chef. He loves cooking. He got everything just delivered to the house. Her parents are all getting a little older, don't want him going out, and some of these meals you have 100 different things you have to get. You don't want to buy a giant thing of like paprika if you're only going to use it
Yep.
twice in a year. So they send you exactly what you need. We got him the gift, and then he learned a bunch of new recipes that continue, and then we eat the food. So this is it. This is Christmas time. You're off for a couple, if you're like Barstool, we get off for that little week in between. Hopefully everyone else gets off from work for a time there. You're home. Just don't sit around just, getting delivery or going out. Everything's so expensive these days. Just get some HelloFresh, baby.
Absolutely. So if you go to HelloFresh.com/Robbie18 and use that promo code Robbie18, ROBBIE18, for 18 free meals plus free shipping. That's ROBBIE18 at HelloFresh.com/Robbie18. All right, now I want to talk about some photos from the Acolyte set that have come out. Have you seen these, Clem?
I have not seen him, Bob.
So go on Twitter, just look up hashtag the Acolyte, which is this new Star Wars show that's currently filming now. First look at Lee JUNG-JAE, I believe I'm saying that right. That is the star of Squid Games, and Daphne Keane, who plays the little girl in Logan. She is in some crazy like makeup, dreads, setup. Lee is in a Jedi setup. We see a Wookiee Jedi, and this is set in the final days of the High Republic. So this might be Buryaga or Arkoff from those books. We see some alien species. We see a Jedi Padawan. I think this looks really cool. And if you're not aware of what the Acolyte is, it's a mystery thriller created and written by Leslie Headland that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. A former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they've ever anticipated. Sounds really cool to me.
Yeah, everyone's gonna, and this is all gonna get measured against Andor. It's like, it's different, but it's a Star Wars movie, just like or a Star Wars property, just like Andor. It's like I think this is gonna be a little more space wizardsy. The guy from Squid Game, which good call, that would have driven me nuts if I couldn't figure out where he was from. He kind of looks like he's naked in this first picture that I looked up here. Let me see. I can present it here. I'll share the screen for the people watching on YouTube. I mean, what are we doing right now, Squid Guy?
Oh, it's kind of like just a tan robe that could blend in with skin color.
It looks like he's showing the squid right there. It's a little scary. So our boy Matt Fitzgerald, shout out Matty Fitz. He blogged about the Acolyte, and he had rave thoughts about what it's going to entail and all that kind of stuff. And I'm at the point where I follow all your guys' leads with the stuff I don't know about. So if you're excited about it, he's excited about it. Pretty sure Ken Jack said he was excited about it as well. It's like 3 for 3, sold. I'm in. Now, a big part of why I'm in is Andor basically was the breath mint we've been looking for
Yep.
the Star Wars properties. They gotta like nail the next. Like we got kind of like DC. We said once upon a time we got to start a winning streak here. Do not give me like a 38-13 loss the week after we finished Andor. That would not be good. The girl I forgot about the girl from Logan. I forgot all about her. But yeah, let's keep the good vibes. Let's keep the good times rolling with the Star Wars galaxy.
I was going to say this is not next. So that's also something working in its favor.
That's true, yeah.
We're going to get the Bad Batch first in January, and then we're getting Mandalorian season 3 March 1st. So and then after that I think we're getting that Skeleton Crew show, which I'm not even sure what that's going to be about necessarily. Jude Law's in it, I think. And then I think we're going to get this one. Also, if people don't know, the High Republic era is the golden age of the Jedi. Like, this is when the Jedi Order was at its peak. We kind of, like in the prequels, learn about the Jedi as they're falling apart. We see the era in their ways. We see the Sith has already come back and it's been in the shadows. The High Republic era lasted for centuries, ends around 82 BBY. So this is about 82 years prior to A New Hope. Jedi were very active in the galaxy around this time. They were exploring the Outer Rim for expansion, and they rendered aid and settled disputes for the Republic through peaceful methods. So finally, we're going to see Prime Jedi. There's a possibility for Yoda in this show. Yoda does appear in the High Republic stuff. Obviously, he's been alive for hundreds of years. So keep an eye out for that. I do think it'll be more Andor than Mandalorian, if that makes sense.
Mandalorian. That'll be the kind of mix of them both. I want to see two things. I expect to see two things in the show. One, some cool lightsaber Jedi shit that they'll probably expand on some powers and stuff like that.
Force lightning because it's Sith.
Ooh, yeah, wouldn't mind that. I also would like to see a little bit of the Jedis. They're smelling their own farts. They feel also fucking good about themselves. Give us a little preview of the reason they fell. Because I'll tell you, every time I watched like the prequels, or they did it kind of with that, what was the one with Dooku where you see his whole thing?
Oh, Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi. I'm kind of like, I kind of hate the Jedi, like Mace Windu and all this shit. I'm like, you guys kind of deserved what happened to you in Order 66. So
I almost don't want to see that because I want the breath of fresh air of the Jedi just being awesome.
So I guess that's the other side. I guess you could just have it where they're just awesome, and then at some point between then and the prequels is when you start seeing because by the end of it, they're fucking so high on their own bullshit. They don't.
Yeah, what if they're so like awesome in this series and have such like actually good morals that you look at the prequels differently and you're like, oh shit, like they were kind of assholes, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And just through time, like everything else, it just slowly dilapidated or whatever. Okay, I could get down for that as well. So I'll be down for that if that's the other way. Smelling their farts, not smelling their farts. Either way, it's good for me. Cool ass Jedi shit. Sold, 100%.
Speaking of cool ass Jedi shit, this is just a quick mention. The sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, releases in March. And I played a little bit of Jedi Fallen Order, which is a revered video game. Like, people absolutely love this game. I played a little bit of it, first couple levels in the middle of COVID when like we were all streaming every night and trying to do stuff like that. And then I just fell off. Only the first couple levels. I looked up how long would it take to beat the game. It said anywhere from 12 to 18 hours. So here's my deal to the subscribers. I will do a stream playing that game from start to finish, 12 to 18 hours, however long it takes, if we hit 40,000 subscribers by the time the sequel comes out.
When is it?
March.
March?
It's a lot of time. We got like 33, 34,000 subscribers right now. It's a couple thousand more. I think we could hit it though.
That's like 2K a month.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
Let's do that. I want to because I want to see the game, cool, whatever. I want to see Bob slowly lose his mind from that 12 to 18
I'll do it in the office too. I'll do it in like the game time room. I'll throw on a Jedi robe because I'm sure MREGs can set me up with a stream that actually looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's something that is it a bit of a punishment having to do it in one sitting? A little bit, but it's something that part of me wants to do. Like, I want this video game to come out and me to know the whole story and all that. Be familiar with the game.
my kids and I last Christmas, we have a thing where we can play like a bunch of old arcade games, and we beat the Simpsons game. There is something about just beating a game in one sitting. Oh
It's like
man, it
such
was
a sense of accomplishment.
yeah. And we have like a billion games, but there was an issue hooking it up to the TV. But this Christmas, we're going to get into the TV. I'm going to hook it back up, and it's like, all right, kids, we want to do Ninja Turtles. We want to. It's like all the the X-Men game.
Yeah.
Or wait, I beat the X-Men game before? That was I joined like 3/4 of the way in when I was like 10 years old, and it's still one of those moments I could still see the end screen and all that. So let our boy Bob Cook get us to 40K.
And then we got a bunch of trailers released that I thought we could talk about. The first one that I want to bring up is The Last of Us. Are you familiar with The Last of Us?
I am not familiar with The Last of Us. I watched the trailer before we went live, and I'm going to kind of like just play it in the background as you kind of give some thoughts of it all. I know it's a game, right? It's a video game. Okay.
They made 2 video games. The first one being, I mean, both of them are great. The first one is like, people consider it one of the greatest PlayStation games of all time.
And it's one of those games that I remember the artwork for it and looking at it and go, that's just way too much like mental. That's way too much brain power for me to expend on that. I've lost that like ability to play a game that in depth. I've never even, I don't know if I ever had that. It was like I was able to play like all right games growing up. Final Fantasy VII is maybe the most in depth for like RPGs. But these games, these new ones, I got one with my PlayStation 5. I've played it like twice, and I was like, nope, that's way too much. Grand Theft Auto is basically my highest level possible of like, doing the missions and shit like that. So tell me all about The Last of Us, because it was a sick-ass trailer, and I know it's like one of the biggest games in the universe.
It's amazing. Pedro Pascal is the star of the TV show, and I pretty much bought a PlayStation 3 to play this game and did the typical Robbie Fox thing I do with all of my video games, where I played a couple levels and then I fell off of it because I get addicted to a video game for like a week, and then I'm like, all right, I'm not a video game guy though.
Yep.
And I went on YouTube, I looked up the cutscenes because the cutscenes were so good, they were like a movie. And I just watched the rest of the video game so I could know what the story was. It's such a good story. I think they're going to do the whole first game in the first season. And it's kind of Mandalorian-esque in that Pedro Pascal is, leading a child through an apocalypse in a way. It's a zombie apocalypse, though. And these zombies are unique. They're like fungi zombies. Like, they kind of look different. Their heads are all blown up and warped, and it's just such a cool universe, such a unique, awesome story that actually wraps up in a good way. Like, it has a good ending and everything. So I don't know if this is going to be a full series, a mini series that's going to end. It's done by the creator of Chernobyl on HBO, which was like another one of those just super heavy, serious, but great shows. And the trailer was interesting because they don't really show you a zombie till the end of it. Like, a lot of it's just focused on the human to human interaction, which is a lot of the game story.
So when I saw Chernobyl, I was like, oh boy, because I watched the first episode. I remember I watched the first episode of Chernobyl. It was a little after everyone had already got into it, so I wasn't just going in blind. I know of the Chernobyl thing. I watched it, and then like the way it ends, I was like, yep, I'm out on this. This seems like the most devastating dark show that there's ever been in the history. So I saw that with this movie, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. But it's not like we're not dealing Chernobyl level of despair. Oh fuck! God damn it, Bob. You could have just lied to me.
Not Chernobyl. It's a zombie apocalypse, so that many people are dying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not usually a zombie guy, partially because it scares the shit out of me, and partially because I always hate, again, kind of going back to the Titanic thing. There was a group of people that were so pro zombie back in like 2014. It was like the biggest thing in the world. I was like, well, now I hate the zombies because of all you idiots there. However,
what's funny is I was both of those guys, not with Titanic, but I'm the guy that goes back to the movie theater to see a movie 7 times. And I was a huge zombie guy in 2014.
Really? So
I was the biggest Walking Dead guy. Yeah. Look at that. You would go on to host a podcast with one of those people.
One of those people is right. That's what I can do. One of those people. And you hate peanut butter, which is like one of my favorite things in the whole world. However,
disgusting.
We did talk on text. Both mint guys. We like to eat mint, which is very rare. There's a lot of people that hate fucking mint. This was the biggest thing that sold me on The Last of Us. Lady Mormont. That girl was so awesome.
That is who that
Game of Thrones.
Shit, yeah. She was so good. Yeah, she was a little badass.
I was like, this girl, like, I'm just a fan of hers for life now, 100%, no matter what she does. So I guess This is it. I also thought it was a movie. I'm now learning it's a TV show.
No, it's a show, and I'd like to
Live on
cover it
this podcast.
on this show. I think we should cover it weekly when it comes
Okay.
out. I think it's going to be like the HBO Sunday night show.
Okay, I'm in. If it's the Sunday night 9 p.m. HBO show, I'm 100% in. I've always said that's like playing center field for the Yankees. They put it there. That means, that's like the biggest accomplishment a show could have, basically, in terms of time slot. Then I'll definitely in. What's his name? I think it's Nick Offerman. He's in it, right?
He's in it. Yep. Ron Swanson.
Yeah, Ron Swanson. Obviously our guy Pasquale, and then Lady Mormont. That's a fucking. And what's the other video game? BioShock. Everyone loves BioShock. Yep. That was another. I was like, this seems like a good time.
Into a TV, I think.
Are they? That makes sense.
Or movie, yeah.
I mean, I think the video games make more money than the TV shows and the movies at this point, so it's smart for them to kind of to follow suit.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is the highest selling piece of media ever.
Yes, and they just keep redoing it. They've actually done kind of a solid for people by just doing the online and making it better and better. But as someone that just wants to play a new game, I'm like, guys, just give me the new game. I know I can just go online and learn a bunch of new stuff. I don't want that. I am a simple-minded person. I actually had a moment the other day. What game was I playing? Oh, I was playing Modern Warfare 2, and I'm not very good at the regular game anymore. Even playing Deathmatch and Domination, I'm below average. I used to be average. I played that stupid Battle Royale, Bob. I thought about retiring from video games. I just am I cannot.
I haven't even tried it yet. I'm worried.
Oh, it's the worst, man. And like I'm old too, so it's like my kids are going to be better at this than I am. And like I think KFC was telling me that his kid's already better at Zelda than he is. And I'm like, well, my kids can beat me in video games. Like, there's no shame in just hanging up the controller and calling it a day. So now the fact that we're watching movies or TV shows about video games, this is a world I never thought I'd live in. So The Last of Us, let us know if you guys want us to recap it. I guess I'm down if Bob's down. I didn't see that coming, but let's rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, we're in on that. I got to plug my computer and I'll be right back.
All right, cool.
All right, the next trailer I wanted to bring up, The Bad Batch Season 2, in kind of an opposite way of The Last of Us. The Last of Us told a lot without showing. The Bad Batch shows a lot. We got like Cody, we got Rex, we got the fucking Emperor, we got Omega's aged up, which I think is a brilliant move. I think we kind of talked about that already, but just aging her up from that kid perspective, making her a teen. Great move. We see Crosshair, we see the entire Bad Batch gang. It looks bigger, badder than the last season. See what I did there? The Bad Batch bigger, badder. That should be in the fucking trailer if it's not already. But I think it looks sick. Like the animation looks as good as Tales of the Jedi. It's that same style, obviously, and I have all the faith in Filoni.
I forgot about the Filoni side of it aspect of it too. I'll tell you, on the jump, when you're in that like awesome looking beach with those giant crab things, it kind of gave me like Mario Kart vibes. And someone about the beaches in Mario Kart, I always just like, man, I just love to just live there, or just spend like a vacation there and stuff like that. So once I got that, I was kind of in. But then you're getting kind of the cold Imperial vibe of everything. You get the Emperor, a glimpse of him and stuff like that. Even saw the blowtorch, which got some like Kylo Ren like era vibes and shit like that. So we recapped it with Ken Jack for people that didn't catch it the first time. We recapped every episode with him, and if you haven't watched it yet, you can definitely check it out. We got ourselves a Wookiee with a fucking lightsaber and shit like that.
That was cool, using the Force.
A lot of stuff going on.
This has got to be around the same time as Andor 2. I would like to see a crossover, and it doesn't have to be over the top or anything, but just like have like Vel as an animated character in a quick scene or something like that. If it's around the same, or show us Mon Mothma, making a Senate speech, because we saw the Senate chambers, like do something little like that.
Mon Mothma betrothed the shit out of her daughter. See you,
if it's around the same time. I might be all wrong on my BBYs.
Yeah, you be very careful, Robbie. These Star Wars. I mean, you thought those Cameron fans were bad. Wait till you start throwing timeline errors around with Star Wars fans here. And that comes out January 4th. I had no idea that was so soon, because the Basin boys are already trying to figure out what's next. It's like, boom, we are fucking right back in the mix. I'm also going to go on the record. I'm sure we'll do we're going to do a Star Wars end of year report card, Star Wars MCU, DC, yada, yada, yada. I am so fucking excited for the MCU right now. I keep watching that stupid Kang, and Jonathan Majors just like milking everyone. And I'm like, man, this is going to be a fucking blast. So that's neither here nor there. But this Bad Batch, I guess, is kind of kicking off the new year for us. So it looks like good shit. And it's a fun exciting. I could probably even watch it with Sienna the first season again if
Oh,
I look
definitely,
back.
yeah.
So it's a fun thing you can watch with your kids. It was my first dive into the Star Wars animated stuff, and I enjoyed it. I came out on the other side. I fucking watched Tales of the Jedi.
Easy to watch. They're all 20 minutes. It's a
Yeah,
weekly show too, so you're committing 20 minutes a week to it. It's
not
very
3 hours, Cameron. You fucking boob.
yeah. Another superhero universe that I'm very excited about that's not the MCU or the DCU is the Boys universe. We're getting our first spin-off for the Boys. I mean, they did an animated spin-off, but the first live action spin-off called Gen V. And now, Clem, I know you're going to be upset with me when I say this, but I still haven't seen the Boys season 3, which is
What are you
crazy because I put
doing?
you onto the Boys. I was like, Clem, you got to watch this show because season 3 is about to come out. It's going to be great. And then you watched all of it, and I'm still sitting here, haven't seen season 3 because when you get in a relationship and you tell your girlfriend, "Oh my God, you should watch this show with me. You'd love it." She's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we'll get around to it." And then I didn't want to watch season 3 in front of her because I was like, "We're gonna watch season 1 and 2 at some point." It was just a dilemma, and I haven't got around to it yet.
Did she ever watch season 1 or 2?
No, no, we started it, so we're like halfway through season 1, but I don't want to watch season 3 in front of her or without her. So I'm a good
But
spouse
you've already
like
watched
that.
season 2, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. When did you start season 1 with her?
months ago, and we fell off.
Bob, yeah, this is my boy's learning about the complexities of a relationship.
I
That
didn't
is a
know
very
about all
big
this
one.
stuff years ago, but you know what? It's a way to be respectful. We
No,
just got to catch up.
a-
We got to hurry up.
and there's also a time, Bob, where you just have to cut him loose and say it's not going to happen. You have to do it for work, and I think this might be it right now. I think you may just. I was so scared about. I thought I had like read a spoiler, and I was freaking out about a certain character dying, and I'm like, oh my God, I already know this happens. I think I read it before season 1, and it just never happened. And I was like, oh, okay. But I was so freaked out. I was like, I don't want to find out what happens with anything else because it kind of became a big like a meme thing, a lot of gifts and shit like that going on. So
Mhm.
I was freaking out. So my wife actually just hit me up today. She goes, "You want to watch White Lotus?" And I've heard a lot of great things about White Lotus, and I just wrote, "Nope, not gonna have the time to do it," because I didn't want to hold her back. So if Lady Fox, if you're listening, just let the guy go and watch season 3. I don't want him to get spoiled on anything. I did not know that this was a thing, this Gen V. This, I imagine, was
Yeah,
a known project that they probably announced at some point. I got the trailer from Lights Camera Barstool, and I was like, holy shit. We're fucking going
looks
back, and
awesome.
I don't have to wait for season 4 to come out. We have like and that trailer is straight up from the boys. It's bloody. It looks shocking. It has everything you want, a little more adult. It doesn't look like they tone things down at all. And I'm sure it's going to, at least there'll be a little bit of a couple speed bumps as you're learning the new characters and all that. But man, this might be it's at some point, it was probably my favorite cinematic universe throughout this. Like this
Wow.
year, I was obsessed with the boys for like the 3 weeks, and we banged it out in like 3 weeks because we had nothing going on at night. It was like, want to watch the boys? Yep, and we get like 2 to 3 episodes. Great fucking soundtrack with Billy Joel and all that kind of stuff. I guess if we like we may have to do that. Maybe for the new year, we'll rank what we're looking forward to the most in the next year.
Yeah.
Especially if Gunn gives us an idea what the fuck's actually going to come out for DC. This is. I'm gonna say blind like top 5. I can say comfortably, maybe top 3. But there's a lot of good MCU shit coming out that I'm really excited about. We got to get you, Bob. Come on, man. What are we
I
doing
know.
here, kid?
I know. I was just trying to be a good boyfriend, and then it turned into like I forgot about the boys,
You're
which
being
is
a
that's kind of a double entendre. That's funny.
good boyfriend, but being a bad boy.
We
Like,
forgot about the boys.
yeah,
Yeah.
forgot about the boys here. Me and everyone in the base were just like, he's coming. Don't worry, Bob. Bob would never ditch us. And then it's just like, all right, just close the door. I guess Bob's not coming. It's always the first one to leave for the girls. And that's Bob. Bob's up with the lady upstairs. And we're just going to hang out in the basement by her. Hey, listen, everyone, when Gen V comes out, I'll recap this shit by my goddamn self if I have to.
No.
I know the podcast says my mom Jason with Robbie Fox. I'm gonna change it to Clem for those episodes. I'm gonna go
I'll
in
watch
the
it
back
with
end.
you.
Okay.
I'll watch it
Is
with
that
you.
a
We'll hold
promise?
hands. We'll get popcorn. Yeah, that'll be our couple show.
If you don't, you have to. I was gonna say inject yourself with like compound V, like basically do steroids. we're gonna have to think of like a boys thing, and just to put the carrot out there to get you to finish it
I'm
because
not putting a bomb in my ass.
I'm surprised you have. There's crazy shit in season 3, and listen, anyone who hasn't watched it yet, you guys have to watch The Boys. And
I've heard whispers about little things here.
Yeah, I think I got 1 or 2 crazy things spoiled for me along the way. I know our boy Jose doesn't like it because he doesn't like the comic book. He's never seen the TV show. It's dynamite. It's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite properties in entertainment in general. So Gen V. And the thing is, this is I don't know if it's a prequel or it's like a school.
It's like a school, yeah, like an Xavier's, school for gifted, whatever.
Yeah. So it looks fucking crazy. I just going back to that world, man. It's just you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. It's just gonna end with blood and like the chunks of human matter all over the place. It's absolute chaos.
One of my favorite things, Clem, is Game Time. This is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. I just looked at my total list for the year. I think I went to 19 concerts this year, not including any games or anything like that. That's strictly concerts, and I use Game Time for so many of those experiences. If you haven't given them a shot yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. You guys are going to love this app. We've had tons of Barstool fans using it, hitting us up on social about the great deals they're getting. And like I said, I've been using it all year. I went to Rage Against the Machine. I went to the Red Hot Chili Peppers with Game Time, Turnstile. It's so easy to use, amazing deals. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the US. You're going to love it. Go to the Game Time app, go to the account tab, create a login, and then redeem the code BASEMENT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Game Time's best in the biz.
Best in the biz.
Now let's get into some questions. We called this a mailbag edition of the podcast. We're finally getting to that mail. I put out a call on Instagram and Twitter. The first couple are from Instagram. Steeries said, "Did you cry watching Clerks 3?" I get a little misty watching Clerks 3. Recently I haven't been crying as much at movies. I get misty, and then I get like a single tear, like the commercial.
So I haven't seen Clerks 3 yet. That's been on the docket. I like to kind of like pile up some things for like the Christmas break. But I don't. Is it like streamable or am I?
It is now.
It is now. Okay.
Like, I don't know if it's free, but you could rent it on streaming or whatever.
It is one of those funny things that when I see something that I want to watch and I'm like, oh, it's not free on streaming. Like I have to pay $1.99 to rent it. I'm so like taken aback. Yet I could like buy some food or something. Delivery charge would be more than that.
I was gonna say I'm the opposite. I'm so flippant with the $2.99 rental movies that I might spend $7,000 a year on rental movies.
Yeah,
like it's $2.99. Let's get it.
When I found out that Disney did that, Disney Plus did that thing where it was like the premium, and you had to spend like the extra $30. Like, oh no, I had it so in my mind it was gonna be free. It's just one of those weird things in my brain. I had like a mental block for. I actually watched. What did I buy? I bought it the other day. They did a dog walk about like the history of Nickelodeon. Did you?
Oh yeah.
It was called the Orange Years or something like that.
I watched it on Hulu, right?
On Hulu, yeah. And it was fantastic. I recommend. That's another thing that I recommend to anyone that grew up in the 90s. It's just so much just nostalgic, just magic. So Clerks 3, haven't seen. I've gotten the vibes though. There's some sad shit that goes on in this, and I'm happy people told me that beforehand because going into that blind, I'm thinking we're gonna get some sex with a dead person joke and all this other kind of like.
You still get some of that.
That's some of that
there, but it's sad. Yeah.
Oh fuck. I mean, shit. How long has it been since the first one? At this point, I mean, we're getting
first
to the
one's point. 94.
Oh my god, I feel a million years old right now.
There's basically Clerks he made one like every 15 years or whatever.
The Mets are looking at this Japanese pitcher that's born in 1993. I'm like, oh, he's not that old, and he's like weeks away from being 30. And I was like, oh no, 30 years old, and you're born in 93. Like I'm doing the math in my head. I'm like, yeah, you idiot. God damn it. So it does. I mean, that's a long time, man. That's damn near 30 years. So there's going to probably be some sad shit that comes up from all that. So did you cry? You didn't cry.
A little bit. Like it got me misty. I had like this single tear. The next question is from my cousin Julie. She said, which fictional character do you most identify with? My cousin Julie's a teacher. That's such a teacher question.
That is a teacher question. Uh,
Mine came to mind right away. I I would probably go with William Miller, the main character from Almost Famous. He's a kid who loves rock and roll, hanging out with, people older than him, kind of getting into this crazy world where he's going traveling everywhere. I feel like that's a very similar experience to that I had with Barstool, like the earlier days,
yeah,
especially.
that's a good call. I'm kind of just looking around the room, just looking at all the different characters I have up, just to see if there's anyone.
You're like
Um,
John McClane, motherfucker.
Well, then I saw the Die Hard poster behind me, and I thought I'm kind of like Al Powell. I feel like I'm kind of just,
Okay.
I'm loading up my Twinkies at the mini mart. If I was a cop, I definitely would be scared to shoot. Might have even had an accident shooting a kid, which is some dark shit looking back at it now, right?
Yep.
So I can understand why he doesn't shoot, but he's John's fucking road dog from the jump in that, and he even helps out in two, which I do not enjoy too as a Die Hard movie. So I'm gonna go Al Powell. That's the kind of I was thinking like I'm looking at my Game of Thrones stuff. I'm like Hodor. I think Hodor probably fits in well. Just anyone that's a bigger dude, I think I always kind of identify with. I don't identify with being any scrawny people in this world. So we'll go Al Powell for me. Thanks, cousin Julie. Was that her name?
Yeah.
Cousin Julie. Thanks for the question, cousin Julie.
Mr. Brash 11 says, "Who would you like to see as the next street level superhero after Daredevil?" I assume you mean in the Marvel universe when you say that, when you say like after Daredevil. And I feel like I'm gonna go with the chalk answer. But if you bring Daredevil in, Punisher's the next one. And I'd like to see John Bernthal or Bernthal, however you say his last name. I'd like to see him back as Punisher. I never watched his Punisher show, but I saw clips here and there. He always looked great as the Punisher. And I know he's a much darker character, so you'd probably have to lighten him up a little bit more for the MCU. But I don't know, because we've been hearing that Daredevil Born Again might be TVMA.
Is it really going to be?
It's not confirmed yet, but that's what like some scoopers are saying.
The scoopers are letting it be known, huh? I like that. I don't know much about this superhero, but our boy Jose like was waxing poetic. Got to see Elektra in the mix now at this point, right? Because, and I'm also going to be kind of devastated when our boy Matt Murdock, he's slinging that thing around and ain't going in Jen Walters anymore because they have such a beautiful relationship. But I want them both to be promiscuous. I want her slinging around, and I want them to then hook up when they see each other.
They're young kids,
they're a bunch of kids out there. I'll tell you what. Daredevil ain't fucking leaving the boys in the basement waiting for him to watch the boys. I'll tell you that right now.
This question I thought was interesting, and I said they could ask questions about anything, and this one's a unique one. Shower Beer Music said, "What was the last great theatrically released blockbuster comedy?" So I really thought about this one for a while, and I actually looked up a couple. Like, I think Ted was in 2012. Ted 2 was in 2015. Neighbors, the Seth Rogen movie with like Zac Efron, was 2014. They had a sequel in 2016. And then there was one that I love, and I don't know what your definition of a blockbuster comedy is, but Game Night was 2018. I don't know if you saw Game Night, Jason Bateman movie. It made like 110, 117 million on a $30 million budget. So I was like, I don't know, maybe that's blockbuster status.
So I saw Game Night. We rented it. We loved it.
Great movie. I would recommend it.
We haven't. Fuck man, we never did a game night back when we like were married but without kids, or dating but without kids. Like we might have done. Actually, no, we did do a game. We played a lot of Parcheesi with my friends, which sounds like an old person thing to say. Parcheesi is a fucking fun ass game, and we played like a newer version of it. Didn't have like the old little pieces. I don't know how else to describe it, but it was a lot of fun. That movie is awesome. I don't know. I didn't even know if that was big enough to be considered a blockbuster, but I mean, I think there's a way to kind of like bend the rules a little bit here. Yeah. I'm just looking at the highest grossing comedy films, which usually the newer stuff pops up, right? Because of inflation and all that stuff. Would you consider Deadpool? Because that's here 2016.
I saw that, and I it came to mind as a bit of a comedy. Like it kind of is a comedy, especially watching it back. But I don't know, because it's also a superhero movie. Like I'll be interested to see how people take the new Knives Out, because it's way more of a comedy than the first one, I think.
Oh, I'm dying to see that too. We still haven't seen. That's another one that's going to probably be streamed over Christmas break there.
Yeah.
the thing is, when you're looking at this, Incredibles 2, Minions, Toy Story 4, Toy Story 3, it's like, we can't just say every goddamn kids movie is a comedy, even though it's funny,
No.
which drives me nuts. The Secret Life of Pets, by the way, fucking number 8 on this list. It's crazy. For me, it's crazy. It's crazy that comedies have kind of just like become this. It should be every year. It should be one smash hit comedy blockbuster that everyone just laughed their asses off. I still remember though when Hangover came out, it like changed the fucking world. Like the amount of it was such a absolute smash. I think I saw it twice in the theater, and I don't see a lot of things twice in the theater, let alone a comedy. But it was just fucking. You were just on that ride for the entire time. So it's probably not the biggest in terms of numbers or whatever. But when the first thing that came in my head was Hangover, because Hangover 2 was like, not as good as the Hangover. And then Hangover 3 was an abomination to the goddamn Lord.
All right, let me see Twitter for some questions. Dick Farkas says favorite / best episode you guys watched from all the TV shows this year.
Favorite / best episode from all the TV shows this year that we reviewed, or just I guess
from all the things we watched.
Let's see.
Like from the things that we didn't review, I would say the finale of Severance was amazing. That one episode of The Bear that was like a one shot for most of it was amazing. From the episodes we did review, the fucking Prison Break episode of Andor is so good. It's been in my mind since I watched it. I've watched that like 2 or 3 times at this point. I'm sure one of the episodes of House of the Dragon could be up there. More than one episode of that show could be up there, to be honest.
Mine is like I think Peacemaker. There could have been like maybe the finale of Peacemaker was pretty good. The Mando episodes of Book of Boba Fett were pretty good, right?
Was that this year? That was last year.
Oh, was it last year? Okay,
I think so.
I think my answer though is it was I think the end of part 1 of the Stranger Things. Which left us off before part 2. And we're like, oh my god,
that's a great call everything. with the reveal of Vecna.
Yeah.
Oh, great call! Such a good episode. Yeah.
And I was like, when an episode like that hits, I then hit like obsessive mode, and I was obsessed for like that 6-week wait or whatever it was between that episode and the next episodes when they got released on Netflix. Which, again, I know they're not going to do it because it's the last season, whatever. I am so bummed that Stranger Things. I understand it kind of was like the poster child for why binging can be good because everyone binged it so much. I wish we could have all watched it together like we do House of the Dragon and go through all those episodes one by one. Based on that good username on this one, the previous guy's username was awesome though. Beer Shower Music or one of those. Robbie Fox, Marry Fuck Kill, Beer Shower Music. However, I'm not putting beer on the list because I know you're not a drinker. Marijuana, music, shower. You could and like
shower. So like I'll be dirty if I kill that one.
Yeah, or you have to take a cold shower every day then.
Oh my god!
You weren't expecting that one. That was the Clem mailbag question.
That's such a tough one. Marry, fuck, kill.
Warm showers,
weed, and music. I'm marrying music.
Okay.
And I'm fucking killing warm showers. I think I'm taking cold showers for the rest of my life. And you know what? I'm going to get a little bit high before every one just to make it feel a little better.
I was going to say, does getting high make it feel better or worse? I don't know how
I think a little better. I think you could get your heart rate down to that level where you're like, temperature is a feeling.
Yeah, I was saying what you have to do is actually just blast the music and just get in that berserker mode kind of a thing.
Like Metallica, like shit like that, like where you're just like, I start doing jumping jacks in there so you're sweating or something like that. Yeah, that was a tough hypothetical, Clem. You put me on the spot there.
Yeah, that was you get a little hint of some of these questions before we go live. That one came out from your fresh, and I didn't even know we were going to be doing it going in. But that is like that username, Beer Shower Music. You put that takes me back to college where you like have the shower beer and there's music playing because you had like a radio in your thing. It's like the happiest time of your life is when you're in that shower drinking a beer before you go out. So tip of the cap to that for the fucking username. A+ work, my friend. And a good question.
I'm not much of a drinker, as you know. I had a shot of Terramana tequila last night. The Rocks brand.
Going tequila when you're not a drinker. God bless you, my friend.
It was fucking gross. And no
Yeah.
disrespect to Dwayne, love The Rock. The people around me were all like, "Oh, that went down smooth. That went down easy. Like pretty good, huh?" And I was like, "Can you get me a soda from the fridge? My tummy hurts already."
When I was in third grade, I'll never forget it. I ran off the bus. I got my. It was the end of the. It was the school year, the last day of school, and we have like our people in our. You have the thing in your book bag. I think about who you're. Actually, no, it was probably my report card for the end of the year, and I was like to the end of school, and there was just a bottle of tequila just sitting on the table. I don't know why. Looking back, my parents must have been having a party or something, and I swigged it out of the bottle and went. And from that point on, I can't even smell tequila without like my stomach just gurgling. So, Bob, that is the wrong thing to drink if you're not a drinker. But I guess you held yourself together right that you're alive right now. So,
I was with State Champs, who's like one of my favorite bands. They've been on the show before, and they were the band who had a member throw up live on the show. So it was like they were about to go on. They were like, "We're all taking a shot at tequila." It was like not peer pressure, but a little bit of peer pressure. I was like, how could I not? You know?
Oh, this is post company party hijinks going on.
Well, I skipped out on the company party to go to this concert, so this is me
bad boy
getting my
stuff.
lid on. You know?
All right, all right.
Northerner for now says Barstool Galaxy's Edge trip still happening. Yes, it is. I don't know. There's no like concrete plans on it, but it's something that Dave, like every time it's brought up to him, he's like, we have to like do that still. He's like definitely still in on it.
So there was a tweet. I don't know if it's everybody's getting this or just me because I'm going to Disney. I probably said it a few times, but I'm getting Walt Disney World ads targeted to me on Twitter now. And it says, strike deals and save the galaxy with familiar friends. You may be their only hope. And then it has a link to the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. And I just replied to the tweet and said, the biggest rebel I know is at Stool Presidente, ... And it doesn't have a single like or a reply or anything to it. And you get usually just one of those if you have Dave tagged in anything, or you'll get a bunch of fucking spam bots just loading it up. Nothing. But I'm telling you, Bob, we have to figure out a way to not only go to Disney with Dave, we got to get on the fucking Star Cruiser, my friend. We got to get on the Star Cruiser. And listen, if we're doing a video with Dave, which is, I think, what like this whole Genesis this plane came from, someone's got to be sponsoring it, right? And if you're sponsoring it, like, the hotel's going to cost us money anyway, a little bit more. I mean, Dave could also like shit this money out in his.
And you put us in the prison from Andor.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, Dave, don't you like this is fucking just like, and it's going to be incredible. We could almost. Then I was starting to think, does My Mom's Basement pivot and just start doing reviews for things like the Star Wars Hotel? I'm like, that would be a pretty fucking sweet job. So I started thinking resort reviews. Like, and listen, before you say boondoggle, our boy Riggsy was called the boondoggler, and he has a fucking massive brand. And I'm sure those guys ain't complaining playing golf every fucking week. So Bob, I think we may have to pivot the show next year and we start doing fucking resort reviews for the fucking nerds out there. But we need people to start clicking. That's what we have to do. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, give us the thumbs up, comments, whatever it does. Let the basement boys get out of the basement. Imagine we came to the Resort Boys.
The Resort Boys sounds nice.
But yeah, I'm 100% in for it. I'm going to be going the first week of April. I think Jeff has like 3 weeks that work for him in the Crazy Dozen schedule. I think one of them was the last week of April. I think we got to get on the Star Cruiser though. Like if you're going to go to Disney with a Star Wars fan, with a guy that just so happens to be a multi-millionaire, I think, and is also like the head of a media company, I think it would be almost a slap in the face to everyone that can't go if we didn't go to this fucking Galactic Star Cruiser. Dave's gonna fucking love it. Like if you tell him he gets to act like he's in the fucking Star Wars galaxy, I'm telling you about. It's a
good escape from all those, hit pieces or whatever, Dave. We sell it to him like that. We're like, you'll escape from all that noise, all that chatter, and just transport your mind into the galaxy far, far away.
Maybe we like put it like if Michigan wins, you talk to him about this at Rough and Rowdy tomorrow if it comes up at any point and get.
I'll bring it up. I'll be on the plane with him, so like that there will be a lot of time to be like, so what about fucking Star Wars?
That is 1/10 of the fuel it takes to fly that plane could get us to fucking Galactic Star Cruiser for a fucking 3 nights or whatever the fuck it is.
Jordy, our friend Jordy, said, can we do a High Republic book club? I'll bring the beers. I'm not much of a reader. Reading and books and video games, same thing for me. I get them. I'm very excited about them. I get through the first chapters, get through the first levels, and I fall off. I have a couple High Republic books, did that with them, but I would be down for Jordy coming on this podcast and telling us all about the High Republic ahead of the Acolyte or something like that. I think in the new year we should have Jordy, Matt Fitzgerald, some of the other nerds at Barstool on more often. That should be a goal for us.
That, yep, I 100% agree. I was saying, Jordy, instead of the beers, as Bob said, he's not a beer guy. You bring the barbecue. He does the meat
Yeah.
sweats for Barstool. I've always seen the fucking, he shows us the before and after pictures
And I'm
of all
not
the
much of a barbecue guy, so like it's kind of like a hey, sell me on barbecue, you know?
Yeah, I got a smoker for a couple years ago for a present. I was like, oh, this is a great idea. And then it's like, oh, you have to start at like 5 in the morning, and it's a solid day worth of just, even it's an electric one, so it basically takes care of itself. But it's like you have to remember to put the chips in. You have to remember this between kids. I'm always like, work doesn't take off for me, so I'm always working. I always have something going on. It's just much better if Jordy just makes it. So Jordy,
Way
you
better.
bring the barbecue, you bring the book knowledge, and we're just going to chop it up in the base and have ourselves some fucking good old time.
And then the final question of the episode, where is it? I just lost it. Will come from where is this thing? Oh, here it is. Narticle. Narticle 2 said if you had to use one scene to explain why you love Star Wars, what would it be? I thought that was a great question. It's such a hard question because there's so many aspects of what you love about Star Wars. You know, there's so many different things. I love the ending of Return of the Jedi where Luke decides not to kill his father. I love the ending where, you know, if you consider that whole throne room scene in Jedi where like Vader kills the Emperor, at least until Rise of Skywalker, to
Mm-hmm.
save his son Luke. Um like that is the kind of thing where I remember even being like a kid and being like the bad guy turned good. Like, oh my god, it's like wrestling. Like this is like, you know, something like that. So like that Yoda lifting the X-wing out of the swamp, I feel like is a great one of like even the small guy that you would never expect can be the most powerful person in the fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. The one that gives me chills every time I watch it is Luke looking out onto the Twin Suns, but that's more like John Williams' score than it is like
Yeah.
the scene itself. I feel like I would go with either Luke versus Vader fight. The I am your father fight in Empire is incredible. And then but fucking I love you, I know.
Our boy Bob is going through. And you realize you did not say any of the sequels or prequels this entire time.
No, because I mean, listen, I love the sequels and I love the prequels, but there's nothing that
Yeah.
holds a candle to the original trilogy. Even for me, nothing holds a candle to it.
Anybody, other than prequel stand, anybody that says that there's anything that can compare to the original trilogy, I think they'll have to get their brain checked. I would say I was kind of just running through all of them because it's like you almost feel like you have to have a lightsaber fight in there or something like that, right? However, I'm going Empire just because I fucking love Empire, and I'm thinking either the scene where they're going through they're starting to go into the asteroids, and I'm thinking about the music being played. John Williams is such a big part in all this as you think about it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go with the escape from Cloud City because even though our boy Han, I think Han has to be there, but he's not there, obviously. But my boy R2 comes up clutch. It's a chase. But you get the whole Luke and Vader dynamic when he's talking to him through the Force or whatever. And then they kind of just get away. And again, my guy R2 coming up clutch, Millennium Falcon, my two favorite characters in the fucking show, even though they're machines. So I'm going the escape from Cloud City. And
It's a
again,
great one. See,
I
as you're answering, I'm thinking of 100 more too. Like the Millennium Falcon coming in to save Luke on the trench run, and you realizing like Han isn't so cold after all. Like he's got a warm heart on the inside. Like that's such a great moment. There's such great moments in the beginning of Empire between Han and Leia, even the Luke ones. Star Wars fucking rules, Clem.
Star Wars fucking rule.
The
Actually,
scene with the Sarlacc where they plan the escape with a done,
yeah.
done, done. That's so good.
How about when Luthen says it's tubes? I think that might be my favorite. It was
Yeah,
tubes.
it's
It was
tubes. He's like, what the fuck, me?
Oh god.
All right, Clem. This was a podcast where, as always, we're like, hey, we don't have a lot to talk about this week, and we wound up going well over an hour.
Shout out to you, Bob Fox. Shout out to all the listeners who stuck around. Hashtag live by the gun. 2 ends there for James Gunn. Lots to get excited about as we wind off the year here.
And maybe like don't bother James Gunn, like don't send him incessant tweets, but every now and then just send James Gunn a tweet and be like, the Basement Boys know what they're talking about. If you ever need some advice for DC or extras in the background or people to play Batman and Robin.
Yeah, because we're close enough with Waldron that I'm not going to do that, but I'm also thinking like,
I know
maybe one day going to do that.
I'm like, maybe save that favor for Star Wars. Be like, Waldron, can you please put me just in the background? I don't need to even be on screen. Just like put me in the background so I could act like I'm in the galaxy.
So here's the final question of the episode. I don't want us to go a little longer, but I'm going to ask you because I won't remember next time we do a mailbag. If you could be in one property, what would it be? Is the answer Star Wars?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
See, I think
my close. If you said like Secret Wars or a random Star Wars movie, I would probably pick the random Star Wars movie.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think mine would be Secret Wars just because I remember being so fucking jealous of Matthew Barry being in Endgame. And I'm like, that guy gets to live the rest of his life acting, knowing that he was in that fucking movie. And I mean, he has a couple more pelts on the wall than we do. I mean, he fucking like helped build this monster at ESPN with the fantasy and all that kind of stuff. But man, that would be so fucking cool.
I mean, listen, I think only a couple more years till these arms outgrow the protocol droid suit. You know what I'm saying, brother? All right. Thank you to everyone who made it to the end of this podcast, this episode. Make sure you like the episode on YouTube if you haven't already. Subscribe on YouTube if you want that 12 to 18 hour Fallen Order stream coming up. And we will see you next week.